So as you all know, God loves to humble me, which I just think, I love his irony. Genuinely, I gotta give it to the man. He knows what he's doing. So I made a video and I posted it about how I like to humble men's egos, right? Which is true. I do. I like to humble people's egos, but specifically men's. Especially the ones that like think they're good guys, but then are clearly proving that they're not, you know? And it's not like in this like malicious way. It's more like in like a you need to like grow way, because I know that's my gifts now. For a long time, this actually like, pissed me off, and I was actually like, really angry at men, and I would be like very mean to them. So now I view it in like a more like kind of funny, like, you know, like this, I'm used to this by now kind of way, right? So I made the video about how, you know, I've like humbled, you know, some men's egos here on this journey. And also women's, but definitely men's. Confirmation burps. And then that's, oh my gosh, confirmation burps. They're like, yes, you have. You have humbled many men on this journey. And I will continue to do that, basically, because that's like what my gifts are. They're like, everybody's got to get humble, you know? And I humble myself, and that's the thing. It's like, the thing is like, I don't hold people to standards that I don't hold myself to. But most people don't humble themselves automatically. It's not a self... That's the thing I'm realizing is my gift. I have this self-automation process of humbling myself. Or I had these psychic gifts now, and fucking God will humble my ass. So it's not even like... So then I'm getting it from two sides now, not just my own brain, which I've been... That is like one of my gifts, is taking accountability. Because I grew up in an environment that did not do that. And I realized that that was the deficiency that was required to actually have a healthy life. One of the main ones, anyway. So, here I am, and I want to take accountability for something that I did. So, I made this video, and I talked about NYCs except for a P, and I talked about how Appalachian, you know, people are kind of known for inbreeding. Like, I made a comment about that. And it was brought to my attention that that was something that actually contributes to the dehumanization of people. And that was actually the whole point I was making in that video, was not to dehumanize people. So I have to take accountability for that, because that's cognitive dissonance, and that's also hypocrisy. And so I really appreciate when people hold me accountable. I view it as a gift now. I view it as something that, which is like really huge for me, because I used to get really defensive when people would try to like criticize me. And that's not, it's not even criticism, it's just like literally pointing something out, or just like stating an objective truth also. Criticism is like, you know, like where people like undermine you. Where objective truths and just bringing something up is like where they're bringing their experience to you and saying, hey, this like harmed me or this hurt me. And I'm just like seeing like how in your video like you're using that term, or you're saying this, and that actually like hurt me in this way, and here's my experience with it. And when that happens, a lot of people get defensive, but I have learned that the most effective tool when that occurs is to actually take a step back and, you know, think about it before you respond. And when I really thought about it, when this person explained, like, they were from Appalachia, and they, like, you know, this was dehumanizing, the way that I said it. And so, instead of being like, well, that's just, like, the way I say things, you know, I could be like that, and that's what most people do. They get defensive, and they're like, this is just the way I am. What I've been learning to do is be like, well, I know people are mirrors to me. And also, I know this is an objective truth. She's not criticizing me because she's not undermining me. She's bringing up something by sharing her experience. Undermining me would be like, you're a piece of shit for saying that. Like, how dare you say that in this climate right now? Like, you know, there's a difference. And so I was just pointing out that I thought that was so mature of this person to handle it in such a way, because by handling it in that way and bringing it up objectively and sharing their experience of how it hurt them versus like accusing me of being a terrible person, which is what a lot of people do, it broke my defenses down. So then I wasn't defensive, because I was like, oh, well, she's just sharing how this hurt her. Like, no harm, no foul for me. I just have to change my behaviors because I don't want to hurt people. That's my intention and my goal with communication. because I, again, was not raised with good communication skills, so I have to, like, learn this all on my own. So, again, God's been helping, not on my own, God's been helping my fucking ass. But also, yeah, like, how people respond to you and, like, say stuff to you also contributes to the way that you respond back to them. Because sometimes, like, when people get really defensive, then I can get defensive back, actually. That's actually, like, a trait that I have. That I haven't, like, realized that I actually have, but I do have this trait. And actually, I think a lot of us do, because we're just, like, trained to be defensive, or, like, I've had to fight all my life people. I've just had to fight my environment. I've had to fight everybody, basically. All the time, I just had to fight people, so I can get very defensive. But I try, when people are bringing up, like, things that, like, are hurting them or things like that, to be, like, kind of objective. Or even, like, when people come at you and attack you, it's like, okay, those people just aren't mature enough to process what you're saying and then, like, you know, use a personal experience to try to get you to empathize with them. They're trying to shame or guilt you to empathize with them, basically, right? Because one's saying, like, you should know better, and the other one's saying, hey, this is the experience and the evidence as to why what you were saying is actually not the right thing to do, right? One's, like, just accusing you of not doing the right thing. One's presenting evidence of why what you're saying is not the right thing. And there's actually, like, a distinct difference between this. And so that's why I wanted to make this video. I'm not tagging the person in it because I don't want to tag them. Because the thing is, like, I was just very appreciative that this person brought this up and that I'm able to share this with people. Hold myself accountable, because you guys know I always love to do that, because God intentionally makes us to make mistakes like that. Because, like, I really should know better by now. To not say things like that. No, genuinely, because I really pride myself on being, like, an inclusive person, and, like, by saying things like that, like, it really excludes people, and that's not my goal as a leader, or as people, or somebody who's holding an example, or whatever it is. That's just not my goal. Or as a person in general, I don't like to hurt people's feelings, especially if I'm trying to, like, get a message out to people and I'm going to deter people from that message because I've said something, like, offensive, or I've said something that, like, could potentially hurt people, you know? So, I used to get really defensive about this and view this as criticism because my parents always used to criticize me, but now I've been working on viewing it as a gift, as, like, okay, this is, like, God's opportunity to humble me. Because, I like to sit here and say, like, I humble people, but God, I'm not above being humbled by God or people. And that's the other thing, too, that I really like that God does for me, is, like, he does humble me. I need that. Like, as humans, we, like, need that. We need to be reminded that we are not above anybody else, and that, and to not be unteachable. I think that's one of the worst traits of a human, is that they're unteachable. That's actually, like, the worst trait of my dad, is he can't budge on his thoughts at all. That's, like, the worst trait of everybody, is to be unteachable. And so, like, literally one of my goals is to always be teachable, and to always, I just talked about this, like, how I look at people as, like, math, like, always kind of try to look at people and see, like, what gifts they have. Their gifts might not be the same ones as me, but here, can I find and search what their gifts are, and can they, you know, like, what did they offer me? And a lot of people offer me, like, support and kindness and generosity with their words and their time and their likes and their comments and all that stuff, you know, and, like, I exchange my knowledge, you know, and it's an even exchange always in this community. Like, that's kind of how I feel. But we don't always, and that's the point of us having different stuff, is, like, we're supposed to, because we need each other. And that's really scary for a lot of people, too, in this society, is needing somebody. I really am afraid of this. I'm very hyper independent. So for me to ever need somebody again, like, scares the shit out of me. But at the same time, God designed us that way, and he will heal us with people that it's not going to be scary to, like, need them. Because they will be dependable, reliable, mature people that you can, like, have calm nervous system, like, regulation and conversations and communication with. And that is what I hold on to, because I have not had that in my entire life, and I've had to teach myself these skills myself in tandem with God. So I know this can help other people too, who just, like, And this has improved my life. Like, that's why I do this, because it's literally made my life so much better, because I'm not constantly on the defense or arguing with people. And you don't realize how much that takes a toll on you as a person, but it does. It takes a toll on your mental, because then you're fighting guilt and shame and all this stuff too along with it, because you feel bad when you're mean and stuff, but you can't really help it. Well, this is why we don't realize we're doing it.